Welcome to JimJim's Reinvention Revolution podcast, the show that explores reinvention in the digital age as it relates to career, creativity, and technology. Stay tuned for interviews with professionals, entrepreneurs, and creatives that have reimagined success and are making a pivot. If you'd like to listen to the entire back catalog, visit JimJim'sReinventionRevolution.com for instant access. And now, here's your host, JimJim.
Hey Revolutionaries, welcome to episode 119 of JimJim's Reinvention Revolution podcast. And I'm coming to you today from Dubai, UAE. Yes, the United Arab Emirates. And it's 2025, and it's time to level up. And that's why I'm here. So yeah, it's 2025, and I'm finally getting this episode recorded. And right now, I'm being surrounded by a bunch of tables and chairs. I'm sitting in the lobby of the Rove Expo 2020 Hotel here in Expo City in Dubai. And the reason I'm out here is that I'm attending the Future Human event from Mindvalley. And if you're not familiar with Mindvalley, check it out. It's kind of a collection of mindset and entrepreneurship and wellness kind of curriculum and organization, and they hold events, etc. So I've never been to one of their events. It's the first time for me, and it was in a location that I thought was interesting that I wanted to explore a little bit more. And I think it's appropriate for the theme of the event because it's called Future Human. Yes, Future Human. So it's time to level up, and it's time to embrace, I guess, our future humanity, whatever that's going to be. We know the world's changing and getting crazy out there. So I think this is just the right space to be in. And, of course, the founder of Mindvalley is Avishan Lakiani. I think that's how you say his name. And people that are going to be here as speakers are folks like Jay Shetty, Stephen Bartlett from the Diary of a CEO podcast, Eve, international recording artist Eve, Dave Asprey, who's a biohacker, father of biohacking, and wellness guy. Just a plethora of different business people like Darush Saudi. So he's CEO of Arena Capital, author of The Philanthropist, and founder of the Gladiator Movement. So it's just a mix of wellness and business and future thinkers out here. So I'm very excited to see what it's all about and see what Mindvalley as an organization is all about. And I thought this is a great way to level up because 2025 is all about leveling up. So without further ado, what I have for you folks today is I thought, I need to really embrace what's going on in the world and get more focused on leveling up. I'm kind of open to it now, I guess. Last year started out slowly, and I thought I would finish strong, and I did, and that was the theme of last year's kickoff episode. And so by the middle of the year, I was very busy and didn't really produce a lot of podcasts, honestly, in 2024 because I was super busy. Busy doing more music, busy getting into different types of music scenes, which I've been working on in terms of learning more jazz improvisation skills, improving those skills, and just digging into the music and practicing like I've never practiced before. And I feel that's leading to other opportunities, and people are noticing kind of in the local scene, I feel, that I'm getting asked to do different types of gigs and more interesting gigs and some recording situations. So, for 2025, my intention is to get out of sort of the regular gigging world and get into the more creative music production world. Maybe doing some original material, writing my own music, and working with artists that are, musicians that are trying to be artists rather than just sort of the local giggers, Which all of it's cool, all of it's great, because music is such a wonderful thing, but I just feel like it's time for me to do something a little bit different. It's time for me to level up. That's what I'm saying, okay? It's time to level up. And so this thing I got for you today is kind of a mixture of how to level up, like a demonstration and process and an application. So what I've done is I know that I need to keep my eye on AI and begin leveling up with AI, for example, because I'm sure people listening out there, they're not using AI enough right now. You probably haven't even discovered it or researched it much if you're sort of an average kind of person out there that's just going about your regular business. But it's getting more and more woven into all the things that we do. And so, as an example, I thought, let me try a specific example and maybe try to relate this example to what everyone's doing in wellness or in their relationships or in their business, or if they're starting a new business, whatever they might be thinking about leveling up. Okay. And so what I did was I started asking ChatGPT, since one of the things I want to level up in is, actually, hold on one second. Before we get there, I want to put this teaser out, because at the end of this episode, I recorded a conversation with Claire talking about leveling up, okay, which this episode will be coming, and we're talking about ice swimming. Yeah, ice swimming, which is kind of like a cognitive dissonance in my mind when I even say the two words together, ice and swimming. She is on the precipice here of attending the International Ice Swimming Competition in Molveno, Italy. I know this is kind of ad hoc here, but it's just part of the level up experience here for 2025, okay? Just to hang with me. So I wanted to catch her right before she was leaving, so I caught her, recorded a little audio about 5 days before the competition begins. It's beginning here in January, let's see, 15th, I think, is when it starts. And she's participating on the American team, the team from the USA. So she's on the international team, and she's going to Molveno, Italy to participate in their, I think it's their 6th annual or 6th version of it. I think they do it every 2 years. International ice swimming event. It's crazy. So I know Claire from the Polar Plunge that I've been doing the last 3 years. And so listen to the end of this episode if you want to hear a preview of coming attractions of, I want to interview her when she gets back from Italy, maybe talk about her win or about the national team win or whatever, how they did in the event, and talk about her experience, because that, in my mind, is a way to level up, and she's leveling up. This is a first-time event for her. Anyways, okay. All right, back to our regular programming here. So what I was going to say is that what I did was I went to ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT, hey, I want to level up my jazz improvisation skills, and how would I do that for 2025? And I'm going to go through the things that I asked for GPT for 10 ways to do that. I'm going to read you back the answers from ChatGPT, but also I want you to think about it in the context of what you're doing and how you might level up. And what happened was I asked it for 10 ways to level up, and then at the end, so it gave me 10 ways, which we're going to go over here in a second. Then at the end, ChatGPT asked me, which is crazy because it's so conversational now, it's sort of mind-blowing. This is why I want people to focus on thinking about working with AI a little bit more. At the end, it says, would you like a detailed practice routine or resources for any of these areas? It gives me 10. And so I went back and said, yeah, how about number 6 and number 8? That's all I prompted it to do. And then it came back and gave me a practice schedule. So I'll go over that as we're going through this. So here we go. And again, the prompt was, ChatGPT, how can I level up my jazz improvisation skills for 2025? And it says, oh, I can help you with jazz improv, of course, using the powers of AI as a model. Oh, this is so crazy. So here we go. So number 1 was it gave back master jazz standards. So, its description is learn to analyze classic jazz standards from the real book and other sources and practice playing melodies, chords, and improvising over their changes. Okay. It seems obvious. So if you don't know what the real book is, that's kind of a collection of all the standards that jazz improvisation people learn. They were based off popular tunes from the 30s and 40s, the American Songbook. And what this means is that for everything you're doing out there, you have source material. That's what I would call this, source material, right? You have source material for your relationships you're trying to build, maybe for the religion, like, obvious one would be the Bible. That's a source. That's a source material. It's a key one. Or if there's a business you're trying to run, you know the source material for your business, whatever you're trying to do. And this is just a good reminder, like, get back to the source material, reread it, learn it, internalize it, really spend some time with it, and go over what it says, think about it, and practice with it. So this is the thing I've learned, I guess, why I wanted to do this deep dive into jazz improv, because I think you can learn, when you dive into anything very deeply, I think the skills translate to other areas. Like I'm sure you've noticed this about maybe you're training for a marathon, or maybe you're in a Monday night bowling league, but when you really practice, all of a sudden you're a better bowler, right? I think people, maybe you might not notice the skills that are required to acquire a skill and master it, but this can translate into many other things, and I think people forget in their business day, in their relationships, in their wellness journey, whatever, that if you just put all the work and focus into that one skill you developed in the same way, in a similar way, into these other areas, it would provide big changes. It would be a great way to level up, as I would say, for this year. So that's number one. Master jazz standards. Get back to your source material. Dig into it. Reread it again. Maybe you read it first when you first got into an industry. Go back and look at it again. Okay. Number two is strengthen your ear. Again, this is a huge thing for musicians, right? When you're trying to learn to improvise, it's basically you're trying to internalize music so much as a language that when you hear something, you know immediately what it is. You know the notes, you know the scale, you know the interval, you know the phrase itself. And so, ChatGPT says to, practice ear training daily to recognize intervals, chords, and progressions, and transcribe solos by the greats. Charlie Parker, John Coltrane, Sonny Rollins. By ear, right? Just put on a recording, listen to it, and see if you can write down the notes, the rhythms, the interval, the phrase, okay? And I would kind of liken this to communication, right? Strengthen your listening skills. So whatever you're going after, however you're going to level up this year, I think listening skills are key. Especially when it comes to relationships, I would say, instead of reacting or being defensive, listen to what people are saying or telling you, or what customers might be interested in, instead of you pushing what you have in mind to sell them. Whatever it might be, focus on your listening skills to level up. Okay. Number 3 here, develop a strong vocabulary. So, in the improv world, vocabulary that speaks to sort of common phrases, common collections of notes, little phrasing techniques like grace notes or turns or whatever that you might put into your melody. And I would liken this to industry jargon. In an industry, or your specific love language if it comes to relationships, like, what's your vocabulary? Like, let's say you're running a business and you're working with your chief financial officer, or you're working with a bank or whatever, and they start laying all this financial language on you, their financial jargon, and you sort of understand it because you're like, I've been around business. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, net, and all these, margins, gross margin, net margin, and all these things, right? Cash flow, blah, blah, blah. And you think you might know what it is. But oftentimes you probably just blow it off because you feel like you have an understanding of what that means. Or you feel like you have an understanding of how someone communicates to you in a relationship. But you're not going deep on it. And there's probably a few words that you, if pushed, you really couldn't give a specific definition of. Well, this is where developing a strong vocabulary comes in. Okay, so one of the things, when I'm learning and I want to really, fortify my sound, or I'm listening to a song and I hear a certain saxophonist play something, I'm like, man, that was super cool. I recognize it. I know notes. I know chords. I could sing back the melody, but I don't have it internalized. I don't know the definition of the word, meaning I don't know the intervals. I don't know exactly what the chord harmony was beneath it, meaning the context of when this was played, what the word meant within the context of the song, basically, right? I need to dive deep. I need to really pick it apart and think about, let me get this under my fingers. Let me play it on my horn. Let me play it over the chord change. Let me move it into different keys so I really master that piece of language. And so when you start to do this, and then you go back and have conversations, and then you go back into your work life, once you really mastered that jargon, that industry knowledge, that industry language, your flow feels completely different. I'm telling you. it will feel completely different, and it'll feel effortless, and people will respond to you better, and they'll be like, "Wow, I'm dealing with a deep master of communication here." So that's number 3. All right, let's get on to number 4. Some of these are back to fundamentals. Number 4 is focus on scales and arpeggios. Seems obvious, in the music world, you have scales and arpeggios, meaning the notes, the major scale, minor scale, and then collections of those notes that are spaced apart are called arpeggios. You have major, minor, diminished, etc. These are basically the building blocks of music, the building blocks of musical language, of phrases. Again, this is just reminding you, get back to fundamentals. Again, there might be industry language you don't know, but this is even one abstraction earlier. Like, work on your English flow of your language, or if you have to grasp another language to work internationally, get back to the fundamentals. Really know what you're talking about. Okay. Number 5, practice with backing tracks. Backing tracks are, pre-recorded music that if you're trying to learn to improvise in a particular style, whether it's jazz or funk or blues, whatever it might be, there's a lot of backing tracks out there nowadays, especially on the internet, that you can find pre-recorded music you can play along to. And so this helps you, apply all the knowledge you've learned or that you're trying to learn, really in application, gets you in the situation of what you're going to be in when you're trying to improvise with others, but on a, I guess, less risky basis, right? And I would liken this to, if you wanted to widen out into applications and prototypes. So, when you're trying to build something, if you're building a new business or you have a new idea in mind, build a prototype. Don't just think about it and try to present it and think you're going to get funding for your new idea without trying it first. And when you build a prototype, you can do it in the comfort of your basement, or you could do it, in the comfort of like-minded people around you before you show it to the public, before you start getting feedback, so you get a level of confidence and mastery before you start interacting. So that's what this is, get into the application, develop an application, develop a prototype, start working in the real life use case. Okay. Number 6, refine your tone and technique. Okay, this is a good one. Number 6, refine your tone and technique. Okay, what does that mean? So, in the music context, of course, you're going to spend time on, and this is ChatGPT. Remember, this is all from ChatGPT. It's nuts. What it suggests is spend time on long tones, overtones, and altissimo exercises to enhance your sound. Again, this was saxophone specific, and it fed me back long tones, overtones, and altissimo exercises. It's kind of nuts to me because, altissimo is a specific technique on the saxophone where you can go up into the upper registers that aren't really naturally normal fingerings on the horn. And, of course, it knows this insider extra knowledge because it's scouring the internet for all this information. Anyways, and the other thing it says, focus on articulation, dynamics, and phrasing for expressive improvisation, right? Okay. So when you're refining your tone and technique, I think one of the best ways to do it is to record yourself, right? So you can listen back to it. Like, am I mastering? Am I getting closer to what I'm actually that I hear in my head, the sound I hear in my head, or not? And so for this, I feel like this is like really, really working on your craft of what you want to be good at, and either recording yourself or asking others for feedback. So this is a key thing. So asking others for feedback, and this is super intense on your ego. It's super intense asking others for feedback in terms of like, hey, this presentation I'm working on, is it any good? Do you understand it? Is it clear? Hey, this is how I'm feeling inside. Am I articulating this properly? How did I do in this situation? Did I make you feel the way I wanted to make you feel? Did you enjoy whatever just happened between us? Or, here's my product prototype. What do you think of it, potential customer? It can be brutal, but you have to do it, and it's the only way to level up. So work on your craft, ask for feedback, refine your tone and technique. Okay. Number 7, understand jazz theory. Okay. So deepen your understanding of chord structures, modes, and substitutions. Okay, then again, this is more of a theory thing. This is back to first principles. Go deeper in understanding. Find that reference book from college that's like, when you first learn something like, oh my God, this is the Bible of, microbiology. Get back to it. Remember your first principles. Go deeper in understanding. Go into mastery. This is how you really level up. Get back to your first principles and really sit back and analyze the situation, the problem, wherever you might be trying to get to. Yeah. Number 8, okay, experiment with rhythmic variations. So rhythm is a big part of music, right? You have melody, you have harmony, and you have rhythm. Those are the 3 big components. Experiment with rhythmic variation. And again, ChatGPT came up with this. Incredible. Practice improvising with varied rhythmic patterns, syncopation, and polyrhythms. Experiment with different feels, swing, straight eights, double time. So this is, the subtleties of why different genres of music sound different. Is they have rhythmic variation, they have different feels to the music. And I think how this can translate to other areas of your life is taking a varied approach to things, using a different pace with people, with your customers, with your expectations, having a strong hand or a light hand. Do you have a laissez-faire management technique where you're just like, hey, I'm just going to kind of lay down a vision and sort of hope people kind of move towards it? Or are you going to be very specific and know, hey, I have to direct these people. This is what's needed in this situation. The whole idea here is to have a varied approach. I think that's where this rhythmic variation comes in. I think it's a great, actually, analogy. Sometimes you need it to be fast. Sometimes it's light. Sometimes it's chill. Sometimes it's like, ready to party all night long. It's EDM. Get pumping. Boom, dum, 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 right? Or, you just got to chill. It's time to chill and relax. Think about that if you're looking for a breakthrough or you're looking to level up and see like, you know what, maybe I need to completely change my approach to what I'm doing. I love that one, number 8. Number 9, collaborate with other musicians. Okay, this is super important. Only way to get better when you play music, especially for jazz improv, is to play with musicians that are better than you. Put your ego aside and go ask them, hey, can I come to your jam tonight? Can I sit in with you? Can I hire you for a little gig I found? Can we work together so that I can have great examples and be stretched in my own skills, and get better. It's the only way you can get better. Jam with others. And so the only way to get better at relationships is to actually have some and to work with other people and to get in the mix and to get out of your comfort zone and go ask that girl out or go call that customer, whatever it might be. And you need to find like-minded people, people that are going in your same direction that maybe are going faster. And, you remember that saying that, you can go fast on your own, but you go farther together. When you go with others, you can go farther. So that's the way to level up. Find others, go work with them, find people that can mentor you or that you really respect or that are moving faster than you, and go hang out with them, go jam with them. Super important. Okay, number 10. Okay, I think I mentioned this a little bit before. It says record and evaluate yourself. So I kind of thought this was together with refine your tone and technique, where it's like, hey, I need feedback. I need to sit back and assess and compare myself to where I'm trying to go. So, yeah. So reflect on your results, I guess, is really what this means, record and evaluate yourself. Take some time to reflect on your results. Am I getting the results I'm going for? You might be like spinning your wheels a lot and working with the right people and engaging in the ways you always wanted to because you're trying to level up, but it all comes back to the results. Are you getting the results that you're looking for? So you need to sit back and assess on occasion to figure out, I'm on the right track. I'm on the right track. So those are my top 10 ways here, I guess, to level up for 25 that ChatGPT says to use to level up in 2025 for jazz improv. And hopefully everybody listening out there, even though you're not a improviser or maybe not even a musician, etc., that you're getting something out of that for your business, for your relationships, for your wellness, whatever it might be. And what's crazy is, again, I asked this from ChatGPT, and I said, and it asked me, ChatGPT asked me, hey, do you want me to put together a work plan for any of these specific areas? And I said, sure. How about for numbers 6 and 8? That's all the prompt was, and it came back at what it did was it rewrote the whole list of 10, and in the spot of 6 and number 8, it gave me about 5 or 6 sub-bullets of specific ways to practice this, the item. So I'm just gonna read you these specific things that ChatGPT pulled out for refine your tone and technique, for example. And again, the lesson to take away from this is what's required if you're going to get better at your instrument, get better at jazz improv. You have to go deep. Okay, the only way to level up is to go deep. So listen to these intently here. So number one would be, this is just under refine your tone and technique. Spend time on long tones. Practice holding each note steadily. Focus on evenness and control. Use a tuner to ensure pitch accuracy. Great idea. Work on overtones. Start with a low note and practice producing its harmonic overtones. This builds embouchure, strength, and control. Explore altissimo exercises. Gradually incorporate altissimo notes into your practice. Ensure proper technique and tone quality. Focus on articulation exercises. This is how you might tongue or produce the note specifically. Alternate between legato and staccato, so smooth or short, pointed playing, staccato playing. Varying dynamics, loud or soft, and speed to enhance precision and expression. Practice phrasing. Play short musical phrases, experimenting with different dynamic levels and subtle inflections. I mean, it's so specific and it's so deep in terms of really think about what you're doing. Okay? I think that is the takeaway. And, one of the things I've learned over getting back into practicing just recently over the last couple of years is understanding more clearly muscle memory. And I mean this sort of in a general sense of the things you do behaviorally on a daily basis many, many, many times. And this includes mind, body, and spirit. Includes all three. Mind, body, and spirit. Things that you do every day. Use your body, use your mind, use your spirit. And there are behaviors that you repeat on the daily, on the hourly, on the minute, okay, that are related to these three areas that are on autopilot, are very unconscious probably for you. And being intentional, okay, in terms of trying to acquire a new skill or find a new customer or have a new relationship, whatever, you got to really, really refine and look at your normal behaviors that are probably on autopilot, meaning muscle memory, meaning you get up every day and you make your coffee and you take your kid to school or whatever it might be. These are all autopilot behaviors. Even getting up and meditating and praying, whatever, if you do it in a similar way every day, that could be on autopilot. And what you need to do is appreciate the muscle memory that are in these three areas. That's in your body, that's in your mind, that's in your spirit. And start to really disrupt those, interrupt your patterns, and think more specifically and consciously about them. This is how deep you need to go, okay? If you want to level up. It's 2025, okay? And we're trying to level up, so this is what it's all about. So that's what I got for you on that topic right now. Now, coming up, like I said, if you're looking for some inspiration or just complete insanity, it depends on how you feel about cold plunging and ice swimming. I have a short conversation with Claire coming up here that I'm going to pop in. And like I said, she's on her way to Molveno, Italy for the International Ice Swimming Championships. And tomorrow from Dubai, I'm nice and warm in Dubai right now. It's about 75 degrees here. It's beautiful. I'm leveling up with going to Mind Valley's Future Human event starting tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be amazing, and I'll probably put together a summary for it because it looks wild. What's going to happen here, and hopefully I will share more insights with you folks as to how to level up in 2025 coming out of that event. So there you go. The time is now. Let's get to it. Are you on your phone, or is that
Yeah,
like
so I'm on my phone. I'm at work,
okay?
and I have my next client at 2. So just so you
Okay.
know, I have a hard
All
stop.
right. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine. It's no problem. I just wanted to do a quickly connect with you because I know you have this big event coming up, which we're going to talk about
yep,
in a second.
yep.
And yes, and I want to let people know what that is. And the reason I had you on is you I guess partly are inspiring my kickoff episode, which I'm yet to record here, or I'll probably record it tomorrow for
Yeah.
2025, which I'm focusing on leveling up.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This event you're involved in is a big level up for you,
Definitely.
and just it's a level up for me just because I know you. It's
Yes, it's
I feel like
it makes sense.
yeah, right. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like whatever is happening is crazy. So I just want
yeah.
people to know that right now. I want to read you these numbers, and then I'll let you tell everybody what's going on.
Okay.
Uh, 5 days, 12 hours, 24 minutes, and 3 seconds. Do you know what those are? You know what that means?
No.
That is the countdown timer to the International Ice Swimming Association competition in
Oh, right.
Molveno, Italy.
Okay.
That's coming up.
You're ahead of me. Yeah,
Do you know anything about that,
that's
Claire?
it. Yes, I do. I'm gonna find
Oh,
out a lot
okay.
more in 5
Well, tell
days.
everyone what's going on. Tell everyone what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. So people are coming from all over the world. I think there's going to be about 700, 800 people showing up to Molveno, Italy. It's their, I think it's the 6th World Championships that the International Ice
It's six.
Swimming
Okay.
Association has held. They do one every 2 years since it started.
Okay.
So big event. It just keeps growing. You know, every year they've had more and more people come, and there's about 45 people representing the U.S. coming to meet there. So I'm really excited to meet the team, meet all these people. Which some people I have met before. Last year when I did that ice swim in Vermont, which was my first
I
competition,
see. Okay.
and yeah. So there'll be a few familiar faces there for me to see there.
Right. Right. Okay. So just so everybody understands specifically,
Yeah.
Claire is on the team. Somehow you've made the team, which we're going to go into. I want to interview you
Yeah.
after you get back, like I said before. But I wanted to get your thoughts right now. So you're on the
Yeah.
team. You're representing the United States. This is your first international swimming competition.
Yes.
Would this be your second competition? Like I know you got into this last year.
Yes, this is my second competition. Yeah, last year the one in
Okay.
Vermont was the first time I ever did ice swimming.
Yeah.
I've been doing the plunging for a while, but that was a big
Okay.
step up to try swimming, and yeah, that's kind of where
Well,
it's
right.
taken me.
Yeah, it was a level up for me to hear about this last year, which I'll go into more
Yeah,
detail when we flesh it out when you come back
yeah,
about how we got connected and about the group, more about the Polar Plunge group that I've been hanging out with the last couple of years. This is my third season
okay.
trying
It's
to
your birthday soon. Yeah,
master it.
wow. Yes, it's
But folks like you are way ahead of me, more experienced. But okay, so tell people specifically maybe like what ice swimming is or what the competition is about or how they do it. What are you doing it
right.
exactly?
Yeah, so in order for it to be considered an ice swim, it has to be in water under 41 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees
Mm,
Celsius.
okay.
And then it's like a swim meet, just either in a 25-meter or a 50-meter pool. The World Championships will be in a 50-meter pool, which is an Olympic-sized pool. Sometimes it's a pool like cut out of the ice, so you're right in the lake. But this one is going to be held at an outdoor pool. So it can be either open water
Mm,
or it can be an outdoor pool as long as, you're under 5 degrees. And the rules are you're only allowed to wear your standard bathing suit, so no neoprene, nothing on your hands or feet, one bathing cap and a pair of goggles, and then you're also allowed a pair of earplugs to protect your ears. So
Okay.
those are the main rules. For the rest, it's held just like a swim meet. There's no diving in for safety reasons. So you have a ladder
Mm,
that you go down. You start in the water. You
okay.
have about 10 seconds to get undressed, get into the water before the start. And then there's also no flip turns allowed because they don't want people pushing off, crooked and pushing under the ice or just being out of sight for
Oh,
too long. So just
wow.
for safety reasons, because you can get a little disoriented when you're
Right. Oh
don't
my
have any
goodness. All
blood
right.
in your
Lot to think
brain.
about
Yeah.
differently for ice swimming. Yeah.
Yes. So a few
Well,
different
right. I guess
things.
the
So the
water could be
times.
freezing over or
It
while you're
could be,
swimming
yep.
or
And if it's freezing over, they're keeping it clear for you. So they'll, before the competition in the morning, they'll clear it of ice. And
oh
then once
gosh.
people are swimming in it, like the ice will stay out. But it could be kind of slushy. You could have a little bits of ice in it. Definitely did in Vermont. That's what we experienced. It was like swimming through a slushy.
Oh my God.
So
All
we were
right. This is incredible.
pretty close to freezing there. Yep,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a really, the plunging I love, but this feels like almost like a completely different sport, like a completely different thing, because the plunging is so um like so mindful, you're
Hmm.
everything just stops, like you're in the moment.
I gotcha.
And the swimming is it's more like an adrenaline rush, a thrill. You're trying to
Right.
control your breathing. You're trying to just stay afloat, get to the other end, move forward where you can't feel
Is
your
it
arms and
harder
your
to swim
legs.
in super right? Is it harder to swim in super cold water? Does it feel like
Yes.
viscous wise any different than warm water or
Yes, it's definitely different. Yeah, so your times will definitely be slower. And very
Mhm.
quickly you lose the feeling in first your hands and your feet, just like you do when you're plunging. And then you lose the
Right.
feeling in your arms and your legs. So the longer
Oh
you
my
go, so
gosh.
you're swimming with the feeling like you can't really feel your stroke like you normally would in the
Right.
pool. So you really
I
just,
see.
it's good to practice in the pool and like really trust your stroke and just know that that you're moving the
Yeah.
way you should be moving. You might have to change your form a little bit, um, but yeah, that will definitely slow you down. So, and as
Right.
the longer distances people go, the slower they get. It feels like the water is thick. That's what it feels
Right. Right. I would
like you're
imagine. Yeah.
barely moving forward. So you just have to trust that you are moving forward.
Incredible.
So it's a lot of mindset, really a lot of,
Yeah.
a lot of the
Well,
mind and
that's one of the
yeah.
things that's one of the things that's super interesting to me. Like I was thinking before, like this presents a real sort of cognitive dissonance for me. I'm like when I first heard about it, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What are you saying? I
Yes.
understood the polar plunge. I've been doing that. I've been getting into it, but it's just like taking it to a new level where it's like this is confusing. And
Yes.
it's funny, like the podcast is about reinvention and thinking about the world and yourself differently. And so this
Yeah.
is like a common experience when you're trying to do something new, trying to reinvent yourself. You're like, but
Yes.
I'm not sure I can do that, or it's so foreign
Right.
from my experience. It's hard to
Right.
wrap your head around. Why why did you think this was a good thing to dive into on this international level? Like you did it, you're like, oh, it's fun. You heard about this thing, but you got like
Hmm.
making this choice now is a little bit different. And what do you think about it so far?
Yeah, I feel like it's an opportunity, like when for what could I go to the world championships in? That I guess, I've always liked sports and I've always done something. I feel like I'm always training for something new that I haven't done before. It's just kind of in me. And
Right.
I didn't know about this either until I saw like an Instagram video of somebody swimming at this ice competition in Vermont in 2023. And I felt the same. Like, what is this? Like, is this a thing? Like, how have I not known about this?
Yeah.
I liked the
Right. I had no
plunging.
idea.
Yeah, but I'm like, I can't believe people can swim in cold water. And I didn't know if I could. I didn't know if my arms and legs would move in the cold water. So I was very curious to find out. And, Heather from the group, she had the same feeling. So it was, because of each other too. We helped, motivate each other to, like, let's try it. Let's see if we could
Right.
actually swim. And we started out just swimming like 5 strokes, 7 strokes, just see if we could even get our faces in and take a normal breath. That was such a
Yeah.
huge,
Right.
huge challenge. And then,
Right. Yeah.
and then,
Swimming, your face is really in the water, a lot. Like it's different from the plunge, right?
yes, that's a huge difference because as soon as your face hits that water, you just want to gasp. You just want to hold your breath, and then you kind of have to relax into it and know you're okay and that you can take a normal breath in. So yeah, that's definitely gotten a little easier with practice, but that was definitely a challenge in the beginning. And then because of that event, so yeah, through the people I met in Vermont, I found out about the International Ice Swimming Association. A lot of people there were in this whole circuit of international competitions, and they encouraged me to become a member. So you first have to become a member of the organization, and then you can, submit any times of competitions you have done. And then if you're interested in going to nationals or going to the world championships, then you can put in a bid for a place on the team. So that's how that came about. So I kind of just did it for fun. Like, I'll just put my name in. Like, let's see, I thought I might have to do another qualifying swim, or I wasn't sure what the next step was. And turns out, that was enough just to have done a swim. They're looking for people, so just to have done anything got you in, basically.
Right. Well, it sounds like you're a pioneer, really, maybe, right?
Maybe so, yeah.
So
I think it is
spreading the word, and
yeah,
definitely,
yeah, for sure.
Well, that's super fun. Well, okay, so just the last couple of minutes here, because I know you get going. Your client's coming up, and we're going to talk about all the other stuff you do with Pilates and talk about maybe your winning experience when you get back, and maybe a week or two
Love
from
to.
now.
Yeah, let's hope.
Hoping so. Keeping my fingers crossed. But are there specific races? Like, what's the style of the competition? How many members are on the team? Like, can you go more focus on the race a little bit?
Okay, yeah. So there's 45, I think 45, 48, something like that, members on the U.S. team.
Okay.
I'm swimming 3 events. I'm going to do the 50-meter breaststroke, 50-meter freestyle, and 100-meter freestyle. Possibly also a relay. They're still putting some relay teams together, so I'll find out about that soon. And then the competition goes for 5 days. I think it's different events over 5 days. So they go up to 1,000 meters is the longest event. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to watch some of those events happen while I'm there as well. Oops.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's
well, it sounds amazing. I'm going to have, links for the website and all that kind of stuff. Can people watch this online? Do you know? Like,
so right on the website, they're going to be live streaming it. There's a link on the main page of the International Ice Swimming Association website.
Okay.
And that's as far as I know. Maybe they'll also have something on Facebook going to watch it.
Okay, super cool. Well, I'm going to be watching probably from the, maybe from the sunny beach in Dubai. I'm not sure where I'm going to be. So I'm on my way to Dubai for a few days. Yeah, then I'm coming back to Orlando. So I'm going to be in a warm place no matter what.
You'll be in a warm place, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll be watching and trying to figure out what's going on over there. So I'm going to let you go for now because I know you have to get back to work and whatever. But thanks for jumping in now. I just wanted to have people hear your voice before, see how you're thinking, what you're thinking, how you're feeling about it.
Yeah.
And then, we'll do the after when you get back and dig farther back into your story because I know you do Pilates, whatever. I'm just curious to talk to you more about how you see the world and how you got into this because I think it's instructive for everyone who's listening out there when they're trying to tackle new things or, focus on wellness maybe for the coming year. So
that sounds great. Yeah, I'd love to talk more afterwards.
All right. Sounds great. Good luck to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Jim. Have a good trip.
Thank you for listening to JimJim's Reinvention Revolution podcast. If you want to hear more, join our mailing list at JimJim's.ReinventionRevolution.com. See you next time. And remember, the revolution has just begun. So dig in, embrace the process of reinvention, and start realizing the success you've always dreamed of. Thank you for listening to JimJim's Reinvention Revolution podcast. If you want to hear more, join our mailing list at JimJim's.ReinventionRevolution.com. See you next time, and remember, the revolution has just begun. So dig in, Embrace the process of reinvention and start realizing the success you've always